What's going on, everybody? This is Peter from Buckeyes Battle Cry. Got a hot topic today discussing the NIL differences between Ohio State and Michigan. Their approaches so far have been vastly different, and we're going to jump into and dive into the differences between these two powerful Big Ten programs. First off, we'll look at Ohio State's approach. Gene Smith recently sat down with Ryan Day and basically explained to him, you should be calling these donors and these boosters for these NIL collectives so that we can continue to fund the football program. Because if I'm calling them in Gene Smith's boots, it's the athletic director calling yada, 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 yada. But if you're getting to talk to the head coach himself, the man, that excites them a little more than talking to the AD. This offseason alone, Ohio State has spent a truckload full of money to retain the current roster, to get the seniors to come back, as well as develop and recruit what is currently the nation's number one recruiting class. Now, Gene Smith is on his way out. Ross Bjork is the guy replacing him as Ohio State's athletic director. So he's coming from Texas A&M, a program that just forked it over with Jimbo Fisher, and it never worked out. It never worked out because in my view, there was no team chemistry, there was no bond, there was competition. And that was before the NIL era even started. So it's an interesting hire that Ohio State made, kind of showing that they're going all in on football and basketball, with basketball picking up 3 5-star commits recently as well. So they're pooling all this money through donors and boosters and NIL collectives is the way that's going through these pools, the 1870 Society, among others. I know players like Cardale Jones and Tyvis Powell started one as well. And Ohio State has 3 different pools and collectives that they can draw from. But how long are people going to be willing to just fork over money? We know the Ohio State fans and culture are a little bit obsessed with football. We know that. That's been proven throughout time. But how long is this going to last? Think about that for a second. The NIL bubble is going to burst at some point. There will be regulation. There will be payer wages. It will become, in my estimation, a semi-professional / professional league to the NFL. A feeder league like it always was, but now an actually legit league. Michigan's approach, however, at least seemingly under Harbaugh and under the new staff with Sharon Moore, off to a very slow start. Many are blaming the NIL or lack of NIL funding for Michigan football, despite just winning the national title. There's a clear and stark difference between the two programs in the sense that Ohio State is willing to pay incoming recruits, whereas it appears Michigan is not willing to fight those battles. Those battles coming in the form of the highest bidder to recruits, between the Georgias, the Texases, Alabama, and what seems like Ohio State as well. Now, me personally, when NIL started, I was on Michigan's side in the terms of pay the players that are producing for you. Pay the players that are producing for you when they're in college. And I still hold that position. But it doesn't appear that Ohio State's going to take up that position. Not under, Smith going out or Ross Bjork coming in. It appears that Ohio State is going to go almost that pay-for-play model, the wild, wild west that we're in right now. We're in a season where I just don't see it being sustainable. And I would prefer, getting players from the portal, like a Caleb Downs, to fill holes rather than getting 7, 8, 9, 10 players each offseason. It kind of seems like that might be the direction that Ohio State's going, though. I hope that's not the case, but it seems like it might be headed in that direction for the Buckeyes. And the reasons I'm somewhat critical of the Ohio State approach, and always was, in this new NIL era, is because there's the argument that it creates, dissension in the locker room. Now, this 2024 team is a close-knit, tight team that grew up in the culture of the brotherhood. But for years going forward now, post 2024 into 2025 and moving forward, I can see that really becoming a locker room issue. What recruits came in and got big time bags compared to other, positions. Just some thoughts there. But that is the game that is being played now. It is legal. It is fair. It is above board. And so if you have it, perhaps it's best to spend it. One thing I know I won't be doing, though, is following recruiting anymore. It has become to the point where 2/3 of classes are in the portal within a year or two. And so, in my opinion, there is no point to follow college football recruiting anymore. I will watch the players that make the field and make the appearances, come the fall and come the spring games. Because post-spring games and post-fall camps, you're getting players transferring left and right. It's just, in my opinion, it's kind of nonsense to follow recruiting at this point in the game. It just is. And that makes me sad a little bit because I used to love following recruiting. Now, I dialed it back 15 years ago and only picked 1 or 2 recruits per class to follow. But it was something I used to really enjoy as a teen. Now it's just there's not much roster retention at these even small programs. They're looking to go to upwards of bigger programs to get the bag. And it's just the kind of way it is. So there are 2 different approaches. We see the stark and drastic differences between Ohio State and Michigan. Which one will end up being most beneficial in the end, we will see. But for now, it's a waiting game. 2024 season is quite a ways away. The Buckeyes seem to have positioned themselves well for the 2024 season ahead. We'll see how things go. And moving forward, we'll be able to tell a lot more in about 3 to 4 years. So that's it for today for Buckeyes Battle Cry. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Give your opinion. What's the better approach? Do you agree with me, Ohio State fans? Or do you think spending is probably the best way to go about it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Check it out later. Go Bucks and God bless.